Hello and a warm welcome to the show. This episode is all about talent and gifts, music, passion, and fun. So do not change the channel. Stay tuned. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
Briefly introduce yourself.
My name is Philip Bundi. I am a music teacher. I teach music in Cheta House of Music. Is in Nairobi, Karen, Kenya. I major in piano, violin, vocals, guitar.
Okay, Philip, tell us. So you play piano. Let's talk a little bit about that. When did you start playing the piano, or when did you know you can play it? Is it that is it a gift? Ama ni passion?
Well, I developed interest in music first when I was about 4 years old. My father says I was 4 years old, but I think I was a little older. Those years we used to have the tapes, video tapes. My mom brought some tape by Don Moen, and I admired everything about Don Moen. So I remember I used to copy everything that he does, from the singing, from the crying, from the... I used to play on the table. I used to imitate everything. In fact, I took it too seriously that I wanted to intentionally faked an eye sickness so that I could wear glasses just like Don Moen. So yeah, that was me. I started at 4 years old in church. Yeah, I still remember the very first song that I played in church right here.
I've just realized we have one thing in common, Don Moen, because I'm passionate about music. I love music too. I sing and I play a little bit of keys. Sijaiva kama wewe. But one of the artists my mom introduced me to was Don Moen. And one of the songs that I love so much ya Don Moen ni God Will Make a Way, na ile ya Give Thanks. Yes. I love his music, the lyrics, the progression, everything about music. So which was the first song that you played, your very first song that you played?
That was Baba Tunasongea, chini ya miguu yako. Yeah, I played it in the key of F.
Okay. So like ni ati ulicheza, kuna mwenye alikuwa naimba ama you just played the song?
So back then there was this guy by the name Muguna. He used to carry the church keyboard at home, and I had developed interest earlier on. Is only that back in those years tulikuwa na ile tabia kuambia wewe watoto keni hapo. So alikuwa anakuja na keyboard home, anajifungia kitchen. So yes, anafunga mlango ya kuingia kitchen na ya kule nyuma na ya dirisha, so we cannot access the kitchen. But I kept disturbing him too much, pestering him, teach me how to play this thing, teach me how. And then he gave up one day and he taught me. So he told me, okay, I'm gonna teach you this song. Because I was small, he taught me shika hapa, play this song. But the ear was there, so he taught me Baba Tunasongea. I came to church. I said, okay, that's the song. I told my father. My father is a pastor. This is a song I want to play in church. And I pushed him until he gave me an opportunity to play. And I played for the praise and worship team for the first time.
Okay. How long did you take to know how to play that song, Baba Tunasongea?
Immediately.
Oh, like immediately. Oh, like you did not strain like, oh, ni.
No, so he told me to play the song, and he left me there practicing for hours and hours. Now, after Alitoka, he came back and found me at the same place.
Okay. And then from there, after amekufunza Baba Tunasongea?
So I had the musical ear. I could hear progressions where songs are supposed to go. I remember back then my father also used to play guitar. So I used to tell him, that chord is wrong.
Which guitar?
Acoustic,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I tell him that chord is wrong. You should have gone to this one, then come up here. Then he plays it that way, and then he tells me, yeah, that makes musical sense.
And you were still a small boy that time.
Yes.
So the is it Muguna or is So Muguna akaendelea kukufunza
Yeah.
kucheza keys.
Okay, akuendelea kunifunza. After that, that was the end. And back in those years, in church tulikuwa na keyboardist wengi. And amongst the best of them was one guy by the name Lenson Mutembei. He's in Qatar these days. He was very gifted in singing and in playing music, also very anointed. So I used to admire him as well. So I listened to him and imitated him as well, from the chords, from the way he carried himself, from the way he's dressing, everything.
Back in high school, were you a dancer ama ulikuwa unacheza keys bado ulikuwa kwa drama?
So in school, sasa music ya shule is very different. And I never liked it. Because ni zile za traditional. I didn't like that one because back here tulikuwa tuna dance maximum melodies and many other people, kina ringtone, rough tone, Daddy Owen. Those days. Sasa tukienda kule shule tunaenda kudance zile za Kiluya za nini. That was not my thing. So I tend to stay away from, nilikuwa naondokea hiyo, but there was one teacher in high school who noticed my gift. So kila time alikuwa ananifuata ananileta, but pia nilikuwa na kiburi. Yeah, nilikuwa kiburi. I used to hide and yeah. So, but in high school, I found a friend by the name Julius. Julius was also another good vocalist and a producer right now in Nairobi. So he's the one now who brought me sasa these new songs that people were doing that were trending, Kina Adon Age and the rest. Yes, those days, those years.
Music keep on evolving and music ya hiyo time si music ya hii time, so I'm sure ukicheza hiyo time si venye unacheza sahi, right? There's a way you used to play that time. How? Ama you can only show us.
Well, yes, you're right. Music does evolve, and every season comes from God. Even lyric-wise, music back in those days used to be very wordy. Even from God will make a way to today's music. What a beautiful name it is. You see, the chorus is very simple. The words are the lyrics are quite easy to learn. So yes, back in those years, music, maybe in the pop culture, music was complicated, but in the church setup, because of, let me say, ignorance, we were not very skillful.
Yeah. Yeah, I still remember how especially the gospel fast songs. I remember how they used to play it. Ni kama kulikuwanga na ile inaitwa aje? Like ni kama walikuwa wanacheza the same. Yeah.
Back in those days, wenye sasa walikuwa very famous na music, those were the years of kina Bishop Muiru and Pastor Nganga sana walikuwa wanafanya crusade. So that was the music that we used to listen to on TV.
Yeah.
So most of us used to imitate hiyo music ya crusade. Keyboardist anakuja amevalia trouser amefika hapa, you know that day the music itakuwa sawa. Yeah, so I actually started dancing first before playing keyboard. So I used to juggle between the two, but mostly because those days people were strict na watoto kucheza instruments. Nilikuwa tunajipata dancing most of the time, but really my interest was in keyboard. So, but the guy who believed in me was that Lenson Mutembei, because he kept me close, taught me some few chords here and there, and showed me how to play songs because he was also very exposed. Yeah. After high school, I went to Nyeri. I was really looking for good musicians. Excuse me. I was looking for good musicians. I was looking for people who are much more skillful than me, because pale grow, I was like the best keyboard player still at my childhood. So I was looking for bigger and better, more exposed people. So I went to Nyeri. That's when I found now real musicians. And they exposed me to a lot of new music, and for the first time I met people whose ear was much more improved than mine. So yes, I did sit under them and I listened. And one guy also called Pastor Martin, he's in Nairobi these days. He also mentored me a lot, and he also showed me that I could sing. Yeah, that is an area I never explored before that. So yes, in Nyeri I also developed a desire to learn music professionally.
Wow, that's good. Okay, so you write, you play, you teach. Do you dance? Ama uliachana na hiyo story?
Dancing, it's been a while since I danced. Every time najipata najaribu ko dance, I'm like, this is not my thing. This is not my thing. So I think that one is now dead and buried. But maybe every now once in a while, but it's not my thing anymore. So right now it's mostly piano, teaching, and production, and writing.
Oh, wow. We will take a short break and be back for more. Welcome back. So, Philip, the first time I had you play, ilikuwanga kitambo. I was in primary school that time. I think I was in class 7 or something. Kulikuwanga na youth conference in our church that time. And then tukaenda break. We were having tea, and then after tea tukapatiwa a few minutes za kuinteract na watu and everything before we go back to the other session. So when I was outside, I had someone play one of my favorite song, Imagine Me by Kirk Franklin. That time ulikuwa unacheza the intro of the song, so I was like, ai, ni nani huyu anacheza hiyo song? And then you played it so well that it caught my attention, ikafanya nitoke kwenye nilikuwanga nje, nikatoka nje nikarudi church nimekimbia, because I really wanted to know who that person is mwenye anacheza that song so well. And prove me wrong, Kirk Franklin songs, they are very, si rahisi kuimba na pia kucheza. That's the truth. So kusikia unacheza hiyo song vizuri, kwanza the intro, and it's one of my favorite song. I was like, hey, I really need to know who is this one. And then I come, I find you playing. Can you play the intro for us? Just kidogo tu.
All right, but it has been many years since. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the first time, the very first time I had you play. And from there, I was like, I think this is one of the guy I should be interacting and talking to. Because ulikuwanga musical your time. That time, si watu wengi walikuwanga nini musical that time. So Philip, how is it now? How is music right now?
It's just like every other business venture that anyone else can go into. There is ups and downs, there is the good and the bad. It's just the normal that is part of human life. Yeah.
Okay. Um, what is that one thing you love about music?
The spiritual side of it. I love it when I'm able to play, maybe in church, and the atmosphere is changed. I love those parts where I'm able to accompany um, a preacher and make it easier for them. I love it when I'm able to accompany good singers and make it easier for them. I also like the teaching. I like teaching, especially young children. Yeah.
Okay, what about the freedom that comes with music? Um, One thing about music is therapy, by the way. And it is one of the things that personally, it has helped me get through some of my darkest moment. Like when you're going through something, kuna ile song unasikiza and you're like, hey, this song is really speaking to me, ministering to me, songs kama za kina Eunice Njeri, Gloria Muriro, Evelyn Wanjiru, Don Moen, and those other things. What about that? Like the freedom.
Well, mostly music that will provide some sort of healing is mostly gospel music, because healing comes from God. So that's why. Yeah, but sometimes even for those who make music, find inspiration from other sources, sometimes other than the music itself. It could be a movie, it could be nature, anything.
Yeah. Vocals. Do you train vocals?
Yes.
Aha. Okay. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, so I usually tell my students what anyone is supposed to be practicing is not songs as much. We practice technique, is what you're supposed to practice, and technique, there are so many techniques out there. So you just, if you're a beginner, you just grab like 3 or 4, practice them maybe for a year, and then apply the 3 techniques in every other song. So that's usually my approach.
So it's not about listening to different types of different genres of music. It's about the technique.
That is one thing, but we also listen so that we can understand how other singers use techniques in those genres of music. But now, if you choose like 3 techniques, then you are able to look for the 3 techniques in those genres and see how other musicians use them. So you can have some creative aspects in how you utilize the technique.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you show us one of the techniques? I'll assume I'm your student, your vocal student.
All right, so there's something like if you're doing backup in church, I usually tell the backup singers, in most cases, avoid singing vibratos.
Why not use vibratos?
It's for the backup. It's not to use vibratos. It's to limit the number of times you use vibratos in a particular section of a song. For example, if you're doing a melody, um, fill me up, that song. Right? So even if you listen to the backup of the original song, they might do the vibrato on the chorus maybe once or twice. So what we are really avoiding is the case of the backup singers overusing and abusing the vibratos, because not all people can do a vibrato the same way.
Yeah.
So for the sake of blending, which is the most important thing.
There are those who will be watching this episode. Hawajui vibrato ni nini. Vibrato ni nini?
It comes from the word vibrate. Mostly kwa music tunatumia Latin names, Italian names. That's the beginning of vibratos. When you're moving between 2 notes, but very fast, then it begins to sound like now you're vibrating. Yeah.
All right. So you said you are a teacher. So I'm assuming you train vocals. What are some of the techniques that you use?
Well, some of the things that I major in is vocal registers. Under vocal registers, we have chest voice, mixed voice, falsetto, head voice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I also go into resonance, another important aspect in singing, articulation, breath control, um, um, belting and belting, also very important. But also it depends with the singer, because people are different. Yes.
Okay. Do you mind showing us one of the techniques? I'll be your student. You for now.
All right. So what song are you gonna sing?
Um, oh, the student gets to choose for herself.
Yeah, so that I can listen to what techniques we're gonna do.
Mm, you are alpha.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh,
Yes. Uh-huh.
okay. You are Alpha and Omega. We worship you alone. You are worthy to be praised.
All right, all right. So for you now, I would do projection.
Projection.
Let's go.
You are Alpha.
All right, so this is what I would start. I would start by this exercise. Hallelujah. I'll do like, mm, hallelujah. But for you now, I'll give you this key. Hallelujah. And I need you to breathe fast and tighten your abs and project. Let's go.
So hiyo ni projection. Hallelujah.
So now you need to breathe and really tighten your abs. All right, let's go.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, so projection is one thing.
What about the exercises that help in, okay, breathing exercises? Because there are those singers, they have very beautiful voices, but when they're singing ni ile wanahema sana.
First, that could be wrong breathing technique. We need to teach them the right way to breathe in singing.
How are you supposed to breathe in singing?
Well, most trainers say you're supposed to breathe into your belly, but really the air doesn't go into your stomach. So what you actually do, you breathe in, but avoid raising your chest, and then you push your belly outwards.
Okay.
That's how you breathe.
So like in, it's like,
Yes.
and then
Your belly has to go, then you hold it in and sing, economizing the air. Yeah.
for how many minutes?
You can actually, for a breath workout, I would actually do the sound for 1 minute. Yes.
That one, that kind of sound. For
1 minute.
1 minute only.
That's a long time.
Is it?
It is a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Which other technique do you use?
Now, depending with the individual, there are so many techniques that we can go out there, but the important ones are the tone, the resonance, articulation, breath, vocal registers, yeah, and belting in some cases.
And there are those who have more problems than those.
I look at them as, everyone is different.
Yeah.
People's bodies are different. So you sound the way you do because of the way your body is created. So not two people sound the same way.
Yeah, like I realized plum people, they can hit those high notes comfortably.
Yes, and now here's the thing now, when they decide to shed weight, most of them lose their voices.
Oh, okay. Like when they want to change from one key to another, or what do you mean by it?
If they lose their weight, then you lose them. Your body is the one that supports your voice really. Yes, so if you shed the weight, you're losing more surface. Yeah, it's difficult, but it's still possible. Yeah.
Okay, so I maintain ama. All right. You said you also do production.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I love production because I like imagining stuff and colors and feelings. I like changing the approach of songs. For example, I can take a worship song and maybe turn it into R&B, into jazz, into hip hop, but still unhindered music. I like imagining music that way. I want to see how far I can go that direction.
Which is your favorite genre?
Right now, I'm really studying a lot of jazz and classical music because it came before what we have right now. And as a music scholar, you have to go back in history and see where this thing came from and where we are right now.
On the same, music production. As a singer, one of the challenges that I've faced personally as a singer is to get a music producer that will really understand my genre of music. You know, people are different. There are those who are good at contemporary, there are those who are good at reggae, there are those who are good at R&B, others pop. So kupata producer mwenye ana get your genre ni ngumu sana manzee.
Producers are important.
Yeah. So what do we do about that?
I think there needs to be more education, really, the right education in this thing, because that's why we lost it. Yeah, the difference between us and the people in the West mostly is because those guys know what they're doing. But for us, mostly here, we just get this thing, tunaanza tu kucheza, and that's it. We go into production, we like the name producer, but we don't understand really what all those things entail.
Na kukopi wengine.
Yeah, it's part of learning as well, but yeah, there needs to be an understanding, some sort of knowledge in this thing.
Will I be wrong if I say that producers pia wanafaa kuwa na style yao?
No, you're not wrong. That's now the uniqueness about individuals, about the music. There's something everyone is bringing on the table. Yeah, so yeah, actually every producer should sound like himself.
Okay, so Philip, you play instrument. Wewe ni mfungi, tunawaitanga wafungi. You play instrument. And one thing I know about instrumentalists or the wafungi, like the way we call them, other than teaching and training and maybe production, because actually most of the instrumentalists, they baadaye wanarudingi kuwa ma producers. I've seen them play for churches. Have you tried that, like playing for churches?
Yes, yes, I have.
Tell us about that.
Well, the first church I played for was in some place in, okay, some place around Nairobi, but not Nairobi really. So it was a new church. And in most cases, pastors do hire musicians. So for this one, the new church, she wasn't very acquainted with this subject. So I was in campus back then. So I remember this day, nimeenda nikamchezea, and then after the service akaniuliza, leo uko sawa?
Uko sawa like kiaje?
Leo uko sawa ama should we sort you the usual ama uko sawa tu? And that was the last day I went there.
So that time we ulikuwa nataka tu kusortiwa transport to and fro.
That was the most important thing at that time.
And then the friend akasemaje?
So the friend was not there after that. Okay, we were going to open a church. So that it happened that I called that friend on one weekend because I had moved to Nairobi. So I was looking for a church. So I called that friend. I asked him, hey, bro, I need a church, and especially where I can play, and especially where I could get some money, some transport. So can you connect me, or where do you play actually? So he told me, okay, we are opening this church, and you can come along. So I went and I played, and the following week now, that's when he called me, said, okay, this church doesn't have a musician, so you can go and keep helping. They'll be sorting you the expenses.
To and fro. How long did you play in that church?
That might have been 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
What happened?
So it was that last Sunday there that because it's a new church, the pastor was a lady. She didn't know a lot of these things, but the husband was very supportive. She didn't know that musicians in now are getting hired in most cases. So she asked me the question, leo tukusort fare ama uko sawa? And that is how I disappeared.
Why did you?
Because I needed the fare.
Hakukupatia.
Alinipatia, but sasa nikaona next time naweza kuja na nikwame.
What is one of the main challenge that you face?
Sometimes is the uncertainty of life, and I think everyone also goes through that, where you are like, okay, is this thing going to work? Sometimes you're like, okay, I have these big visions. How am I going to achieve all these things? And a friend of mine also told me that for musicians, we are usually tempted in two areas, in the areas of finances and relationships.
Yeah, those two areas, especially the finances. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Well, in our East African market, the music market has not yet grown to a place where it can support musicians full time. But teaching is one good source. Yeah, teaching is a good source. You can get money consistently. Production is also another, depending if you've built a brand, if you are known. Performance, not as much, but there was a time it used to.
Yeah, that was before COVID. But then before COVID.
Yeah, and even before, those days of Groove Awards and Safaricom
Yeah,
shows.
I know that.
Yeah.
These days si sana. Because hata weddings zimepungua, they are not as much as those days.
Yeah, but if we learn the business aspect of music, then we can make money from everything. But also, there's also an advantage to it after COVID because now everyone is going online. So anyone can actually earn from their home, from TikTok, from YouTube, and also Facebook, which is coming.
Yeah, Facebook too.
Yeah.
So, Philip, what do you advise a musician out there?
Well, your dreams will be very much easy to achieve when you have spiritual backup. Uh, Sometimes I took time to study the greatest musicians from history, from the classical time, Kina Michael Jackson, Prince, and all those people were very spiritual. I also took time to study Bible characters. Those people are very, very knowledgeable about spiritual things. So that is where the success comes from. Because for you to attract a multitude of people, whether you're doing music or also business, because this is business, for you to attract people, you have to have some sort of spiritual backing. Yeah. All right. Let me play this other one. Ah.
That was good, fun. Help us by subscribing to our channel, Golden Act TV, ARC. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, and share, and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we upload a video. Thank you.